it's me and Watermelon, and our game for today is Twister. I used to play this a little bit when I was a little bit more nimble and could actually move, and you can get pretty tied up in knots doing this. Yeah, it's for those of you, I'll open it up, just kind of show you. It has this giant spinner here. It tells you the left foot, right foot, or left hand, right foot. Left foot, okay. And it has the pad, and it's a fairly decent pad. It smells like smoke. Somebody used to have, I got this from I bought these pile of games maybe about 6 months ago, and yeah, they just smell like smoke. It's some smoke, just, it smells like cigarettes, But yeah, but still a good game. I've got other ones, Twister. I've got like 3 or 4 boxes of Twister. A lot of them are in Michigan. This one just happens to be here because I bought a pile of games. And my grandkids, they'll come and they'll try and play this. They're kind of small, and, they're, 6, 5, they'll try and play. It's kind of fun for them, they'll twist their body and out of shape. Can't do that anymore. But yeah, that's my game. Today I just want to talk a little bit about college. Believe it or not, I went to college. I went to a community college. Actually, I went to 2 or 3, 2 different colleges. Yep. One when I was pretty much fresh out of high school. I got some grants from the government, some Pell Grants that I didn't have to pay back. I qualified. My mother, my mother raised us on food assistance and stuff like that, So I never really had a lot of money. So I had a job when I got out of high school and working, and I'll talk about that some other time. But that's kind of interesting how many jobs I've had. I'll talk a little bit about that the next time maybe. But going to college, working at a fast food, restaurants and stuff. I took up computer programming way back when they had C. I mean, this was like computers were just starting to take off when I was, 19, 20 years old. That's what, 30 plus years ago. So yeah, they were just starting to take off. Back when I didn't have a cell phone or anything back then. It was still a landline with a long cord, so you could reach as far as you could. But anyways, I went to college for a couple of years. I did that, and I took up a couple. I took up computer program. I did that. Plus, I took. You got to have some not really like this, but just kind of extra classes, whatever they kind of make you do, something. I don't think that's right, although it does give you a well-rounded, they are teaching something, but I don't think it's right where they make you do that. I'm kind of, I believe in college, but I know that you can, if you're smart, you can self-teach yourself if you have to. If you don't got the money or the means, just read a lot of books. That's what Charlie Kirk did. I loved Charlie Kirk, and it's sad to see him go. But in one of his videos, he talked about how he, read, I don't know how many books, a book a day, maybe, or I mean, he seriously read a lot of stuff, and he was self-taught. Some people don't need to go to college; they just need to just read. Some people can just have that gift of reading and understanding what they read, and educating themselves that way, And then others need somebody to push them to get them to go to class and to actually learn. Unfortunately, some people just go to college for the sports and really don't learn too much, and just play sports, and that's what they're into, you know. But yeah, I went to college then, and then after my couple years of college, I took up a little bit of karate. Not I can move, man. No, I lost most of it. I can still do a little bit, not much. I want to take some more classes again, self-defense. Get more into it later. Maybe after my hip gets fully recovered, I'm going to try and maybe do something like that. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then I, took went on a mission for my church. I can talk about that later too. And then I came back and I found a job, and factory job, and I worked that factory job for 17 years. Then it shut down, and they gave me an opportunity to go to college again, to work and to live off my the NAFTA. It was a NAFTA deal that Obama, I believe it did, and it wasn't the greatest thing. They made it sound so great and wonderful, but it really wasn't that great. Living off your unemployment. They basically extended your unemployment for 2 years, and so you lived off your. I lost my house trying to live on unemployment and go to college. I lost my house, and see what else. I lost my house, and I really didn't come out that much ahead with finding a good job. I went into the wrong. I let people talk me out of going into the field I wanted to. I had a limp from my first hip surgery, where it didn't turn out too well, and I dealt with that for 23 years. Well, during that time, I was still working there, and then I got laid, and so, but I lost my house, and I went through all of my 401k money they had put away, about $12,000. It didn't work out for me, and I ended up being $18,000 in debt from going to college, and I still haven't paid anything on that. It's still drawing interest, and it's just accumulating. It's just building. I haven't had a good enough job to pay anything on it. I've been, what do they call that? Filing something to where you don't pay anything on it. You basically just hardship, They need to work something out with that. I think that they should cut the interest so that they can't accumulate interest or something when you're on hardship. That way, they just accumulate interest, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why I don't like college and student loans. That's why I took out student loan. I took and I started college with Pell Grants or whatever, and I wouldn't have to pay them back. But then, trying to live off an unemployment, I ended up taking out a couple of loans just for a couple things, and those added up, and before too long, I had $20,000, close to $20,000 in debt. You need to be very careful when you go to college. Make sure it's right for you. So many people go to college, and maybe their parents force them through, whatever. You can, I watch all the time on my phone, you can get some good paying jobs if you want to learn how to be an electrician, a carpenter, a mason, you know, a bricklayer, a plumber. You know, yeah, sure, they might be a little bit labor intensive sometimes. But to be honest with you, maybe that's what you need. Get your butt out there and just do something. You know, instead of sitting at home playing your video games and thinking that's a way to earn money. But just be careful about it. There are government programs out there. Hopefully, you know, utilize that as much as you can without having to pay anything. You know what I mean? Check it out. You know, maybe there's grants or there's scholarships. You know, if your sports, you know, where you don't have to pay anything back, it's better than trying to pay a loan back, and you end up like me. You don't get a job from your college. I took up business administration at a 2-year college. You know, that's business administration at college is a joke. It's if you don't specify of what you want to go into business administration. If you want to go into accounting, take business administration, accounting. You know, focus on that accounting. Business administration was just taught me a little bit about bookkeeping. Taught me about business. You know, how you need to get out there and mingle with each other, and yeah, it's been so long I can't remember all of it, but I always wanted to own my own business. That's kind of why I did it. But I should have went into heating and cooling. You want to go into a job that to me is not that hard. Is heating and cooling. Just knowing how to fix an air conditioner unit, and how to install them and stuff like that. You know, 50, 60,000 a year, or if not more. You know, good paying jobs. And you know, it's just amazing the good paying jobs out there. They're good careers. And you know, I'd encourage you to go that way than to go to college, to be honest with you. Even learning how to run a bulldozer, a backhoe, heavy equipment operator. They pay really good. And all you do is sit in the machine and run some levers and move some dirt, and you're just sitting there. There's jobs out there. My wife said, oh, there's not no job. You know what? There's lots of jobs out there. There's hundreds of jobs out there. But you know what? My wife's just not qualified for most of them. And get yourself qualified. You know, go to a what do they call that? There's you know, go to be a truck driver. I'll talk to you about that, my experience about that here in one of these videos. They pay good. Hours are kind of long driving, if you don't mind driving. But anyways, yeah. But just be careful out there. Try not to get too much in debt. And be smart about it. If you go into it like business administration, keep heavy on like accounting or something. Because if I could have did that, maybe I could have been an accountant or something like that. And accountants make good money. But I didn't. I just took little basic pieces of everything. And it left me with nothing. You know, I would have had to go for 4 more years. Get a master's or something. And then maybe that would have gotten me a supervisor position or something at a factory, which make good money. But yeah, that's been my experience with college. Just be careful with it. All right, you can take it and comment your opinion, and feel free. I'd love to hear your opinions. Thank you.